Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to today's unseen video. This is pretty stacked. I was going to do a Wyatt Sicks video earlier, but I'm pretty pleased that I didn't because, of course, we got another tweet that dropped. We're going to take a look at some of the reaction to yesterday's Wyatt Sicks video. Didn't quite make enough to warrant another video of its own. Then, of course, we got another tweet today that has now added to it. And so I reckon we've got enough here just for a Wyatt Sicks video. But I'm going to try and do the Wyatt Sicks stuff and then get into all the other stuff afterwards. I mean, honestly, this thing could go half an hour, but I'm hoping it doesn't. So let's get started. So here, Word of Wrestling says that Styx is a river, right, that was being crossed, the River Styx. That is the river that is shown in that painting, in that image that was tweeted out by the Wyatt Sicks yesterday, right? This one right here. But it is also a goddess. It's the name of a goddess. And so Word of Wrestling said this screams Alexa. Now, honestly, it's still hard to know exactly what this image is meant to be representing. I think for me, what's really interesting, and we will hear about this later, is that this also features in Dante's Inferno. And that's quite interesting because Dante's Inferno is a piece of work that has been referenced a lot by Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt has used it a lot during the Firefly Funhouse, during promos, images on his shirt, for example, tweeting out things. Dante's Inferno has been a big inspiration to Bray and this story. So it's very interesting that this image features in Dante's Inferno as well, like this river, the River Styx, and all of that features. So I thought that was interesting, but again, it's very hard to know what we're meant to be taking from it. I'm not sure that it's this, to be honest. Again, you know, this might just be that we're finding stuff which could connect, and it absolutely could be that we're meant to think about Alexa here. But I'm not sure. I'm not totally sold on it at the moment. Nothing else is pointing to Alexa for me personally. So this would be a bit of an exception. This would be something just out of the blue. So if everything else was screaming Alexa, then I would be on board. So yeah, interesting, brilliant, a great find, good enough to be included. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Here's Kim Strains, who said the meaning and uses of Styx, right? So when someone dies, their spirit must cross the Styx to enter the afterlife. The ferryman, who's called Charon, would take souls across the river, and they would need to pay a fee to do so. Styx means shuddering and expresses a loathing of death. Again, what are we meant to take from this? Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. This was the original tweets. I hear you, right? And here we've got the River Styx. We've got Charon taking the souls across the river into hell. So I Am the Color Red said at first he refuses to take Dante because Dante is a living soul. But he agrees to help Dante when Virgil tells him that their journey is ordered by God's will. So it's all interesting stuff. I mean, digging into this image has thrown up like some interesting things, but it's just not landing anywhere for me where I can go, right, that's what they mean. That's what they mean. So I don't know. I mean, when he says I hear you, I always, my default is that is Bo talking to Bray. That's always my default. And it could be wrong because it could be Bo talking to Braun saying I hear you. But I always think it's Bo talking to Bray. So I don't know. This is a real issue. This is a real tough nut to crack. What are they trying to communicate here? Metal Mama said, I was planning to post a deep dive into the latest clues, but I can't wait any longer. I've noticed something intriguing. The background texture of this resembles the black sheep's mask, which I can sort of see if you go really close up on the sheep's mask, you would sort of get this kind of pattern. If this zoomed out, then it might reveal that we're actually looking at up here on the sheep's mask. This clearly is an image of something. There's some reason as to why this is the background. What if it is a close-up shot of the forehead of the sheep's mask? I thought that was really clever. Metal Mama also says, if you go to the journal, you'll see like an eclipse, right? You'll see an eclipse next to the word family, right? Which we've spoken about before. It's been noted before during Nightbirds. Well, the eclipse was also used during that video when it said, even now, the words of the red grow stronger. So again, you know, is this meant to symbolize family? And is that meant to symbolize the black sheep's mask? I thought that was really good. I thought there was some really interesting thoughts there by Metal Mama based on the video that we saw on Raw on Monday. Cabbage Patch Cannibal said, I feel like this is a message to Braun, but not a join us type message. More a don't lose yourself giving into the monster. Let me help you as you helped me when I was at my lowest. So actually, Cabbage Patch Cannibal here is looking at a lot of this as not being Bo talking to Bray, but Bo talking to Braun and actually saying you was there for me when I hit rock bottom. And so let me be there for you now, which is an interesting theory. I don't know if that's like where we're going. I'm not sure if this is correct or not. But it is very interesting. I am the Colour Red here said that Sharon post from yesterday is part of Dante's Inferno. I was reading a bit more about it and I wondered if other parts might have relevance. So yeah, I think that I feel really good about the journal post. I still feel like that is Bo to Bray personally, right? It's the image that I really struggled with. So had we have done a video yesterday, this is where we would have ended. Not really much in the way of satisfying conclusion, really. But today we got another tweet. We got this. Big thank you to everyone that tagged me in this. Wendy Lucho, thank you. 10 hours ago, do you hear it too? Right? And a lot of people have read into these numbers. I don't think we need to, because I think that we're not seeing the full picture. It really feels to me like we will see these numbers in another post, maybe this weekend, maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday, maybe there'll be a QR code on Monday and it's going to lead to this. I feel like we're going to see these numbers, but at the moment they're not complete. You can see bits of numbers that we're not quite seeing at the moment. I mean, is that a 5? Is that a 6? I don't know. It could be either. And so I feel like we've not got the full picture just yet. So I'm not too worried about the numbers. I am interested in these, though, because that does definitely feel like something which is complete and something we need to be paying attention to. You can see PROV, so proverb 1813. So to me, that is the takeaway from this, right? And also that looks a bit like a penis. So here, if we have a look at Proverb 18:13, we get this. So Bailey, thank you. So if one gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly or shame, folly. New Living Translation said, spouting off before listening to facts is both shameful and foolish. Here, answering before listening is stupid and rude. Right, so this is all about jumping to conclusions, isn't it? This is about providing answers before you've heard the question, right? He that giveth answer before he heareth, it is folly and shame unto him. So who are we talking to? Who is this a message to? Who is it like shameful or wrong to answer before you've listened? Who are we talking to? And it was only the other day they put a message out saying that we see what we're determined to see. So who is seeing the things that they're determined to see? Who is answering questions before they've even heard what's been said? Like, who's providing answers before they've heard the question? Who are seeing things that they want to see? It does feel like it could be aimed at the fans. I don't think it is, right? Because I don't think there's really anyone out there, and I don't think we do it, where we're like, yeah, it's this. It's definitely this. We go with lead-in theories, and we try to work out what it is they're putting out there. And I would think that they would be grateful for the fans doing that, you know, engaging in that. That's what they want. They want the fans to be engaging with this. So I don't feel like it's aimed at the fans. It's got to be aimed at either Bo or Braun or Alexa. It's got to be aimed at someone else. I don't think that you would want to make the fans feel like a bit of shame for like trying to work this stuff out. You know, yeah, we might go down some wrong roads and we might have wrong theories, but you wouldn't want to discourage the fans from working this out. So I don't think this is aimed at the fans. So who's it aimed at? Right, here's Paul I, an Arsenal of the ministry, saying, could this mean what the picture states is Proverb 18:13? We all know the six are about the truth, hating vanity and ignorance. Conflict with family and falling out in the last bit could be about Alexa Bliss and Braun falling out of the family and maybe rejoining. So Proverb 18:13 said if one gives an answer before he hears, it is folly and shame. The proverb means that speaking before hearing is a sign of arrogance and overconfidence, and that is foolish to speak in ignorance. It also suggests that vain and pride can lead to a person thinking they know what to say without listening to others. So it's very interesting, this. I don't know as to how this necessarily fits, but if we carry on, because Paul said about this bit, the chapter warns against undue conflict, noting that close friends and family can experience increased bitterness when they have a falling out. So is it connected to Braun and Alexa? Is it that bit we should be honing in on about how friends and family can experience increased bitterness when they have a falling out? I like that. I like that, Paul. I think that's good. Here's Dave, right? Now, Dave's got an interesting theory. He said, we assume that 1A stands for Alexa, but we always question the 1. What if the 1 is meant to be added? So, like, it's 1 plus A, which might equal B. Like those puzzles they gave us where you have to move. I mean, it is good. If you think about the Caesar ciphers that we've had, and a Caesar cipher is where they give you a letter, but the actual letter they mean is so many places along. So could it be that this is 1A, which means start at A and move one place, and then you end up at B? So could it be that all along we just went with Alexa because it fitted, but it was a bit more cryptic than that? And so it was 1 plus A, which, you know, you move one place, that gets you to B. And so is it that they are looking to bring Braun in and not Alexa? I don't know. The URL has always been a key clue that we are looking at Alexa joining because of it being A. But the 1A is interesting. I do agree with that. But then I think there was 5 at the start of the other initials, and we didn't have to change those. So if the rule applies to the A, I would think it should have applied to the other part of the URL as well. And I don't think we had to change that or do anything with that. I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me right, the URL was 5UJ, blah, 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 blah. But it was U, Uncle Howdy, J. We didn't move those ones. So why are the rules different for the 1A? I really like it, though. But again, are we just trying to make it fit? Are we just trying to make it fit Braun if it's not Braun, you know? I'm really conscious of not doing that because, well, the message is being sent at the moment. You know, wait for the answer before assuming you know what the question is going to be. And you know, you're determined to see what you want to see. I feel like it's a really interesting warning, and it's one that I'm listening to. I mean, I'm really not trying to fit any pegs in any holes. I'm just trying to see what we're getting and trying to read it accordingly, you know. We also got this from Nikki as well. Grief is the price we pay for love, which is a quote that I've seen before. And I think we find out that she's actually posted it back in July. Grief is the price we pay for love. I Am the Colour Red said, not sure we should read much into Nikki's post. She posted the same back in July. Here, Word of Wrestling said, it's getting busy tonight. We've got a new post from Nikki. Grief is the price we pay for love. It's a quote that's been adapted by Queen Elizabeth from a passage written by Dr. Parks. The price we pay for love is the cost of commitment. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is to do, I mean, grief. The grief we've gone through is the loss of Bray. So I feel like that connects with losing Bray. So I think it's like grief is the price we pay for love. So if you want to love someone, you're going to grieve when they're not around anymore. That's the price. So I feel like it's that, personally. I think that's what's being said. But interesting, she has said it before. So with all this stuff, right, that we're talking about, and I know that we've kind of gone on a fair bit here, but for all this stuff that we're talking about, I feel like we have got to try and summarize it in some way. I feel like I want to just put a bit of a bow on it, like to say, okay, this is where I am at the moment. This is not concrete, but if someone was to go, listen, what's going on? Can you just try and figure out what the flip this is and let me know where we are, right? Because this is confusing, and I would understand that. So I've put this out, right, so that people can sort of understand, okay, this is where I am right now. And you can see it's had a few thousand views. I posted it just before Smackdown. The Wyatt Sicks clues feel like recruitment to me. Themes have been, you see what you are determined to see, and you don't answer before you understand. It feels like it's not much of a reach to suggest that we're talking to someone who is resisting the pull of the Wyatt Sicks. That is something that Braun has mentioned previous, right? You see what you're determined to see, and don't answer before you understand what is being offered, before you understand what is being proposed, right? And so I don't think it's too much of a reach to say that we are talking to somebody. And, you know, Braun really feels like the person to me, right? And to be clear, if this is Braun related, and don't forget there was a file called Arbon, which if you rearrange the letters, it comes out with Braun, which also helps us kind of know if we're on the right path, right? I still wouldn't expect him to be a full member, just someone that the Wyatts will assist. But maybe they are only willing to do that if they know that their assistance will be appreciated. Right? A lot of water under the bridge with Braun. Maybe we don't want to do anything without knowing that it will be appreciated. Right? And maybe that's why we're saying don't answer before you understand. Like, don't shoot us down. If we say we want to help, don't just say no. This is where we are now. We're not the same. You know, it's not the same as it was when you was feuding with Bray back in 2020, right? We're not looking to turn you into a monster. We're just here to offer help. And I wonder if it's something along those lines. I wonder if it's something along those lines. Not saying it is. Don't want to fall into the trap, right, of saying answers before I've understood the question. This is tricky. But that's kind of where I am at the moment, right? And then I carried on, because lols. Word of Wrestling said, I think you're right. I think they're talking about Braun. He is resisting the Wyatt Sicks, and he is putting on blinkers through grief from the loss of Bray. It makes more sense when reading the full passage. Imagine it being said in the context of Braun. So, pain of grief is just as much a part of life as joy of love. It is perhaps the price we pay for love, the cost of commitment. To ignore this fact or to pretend that it is not so is to put on emotional blinkers, which can leave us unprepared for the losses that will inevitably occur in our own lives and unprepared to help others cope with losses in theirs. So, yeah, I mean, that could fit with Braun, who has struggled since Bray passed away. We know that in the real world, they were very close. Could this also connect to Nikki saying they saved me from the other day? As if, let us help. There's nothing to fear because they saved me. Just a theory, but that's currently where my thinking is. So this is where I am. I can't explain the painting, the picture, the image. I don't know what we're communicating there. I do lean towards that we're reaching out to Braun, but I'm conscious of not seeing something that's not there. I am reading it in this way. I don't know who they're saving him from other than Bronson. And honestly, Braun and Bronson is a pretty fair fight at the moment. So, you know, if Braun was getting jumped by Bronson and a tag team, say Authors of Pain, say Final Testament were helping Bronson, this to me would be a no-brainer. To me right now, I'd be like, it's definitely Braun. It's definitely Braun. Because Braun's getting jumped by the Final Testament, and so this is the Wyatt saying, we'll help you if you want it. The problem is, that's not happening. At the moment, it's just Bronson and Braun. There's not really any reason for the Wyatt Sicks to get their teeth into this. So that is leaving me a little bit confused, to be honest. Just a little bit confused. So, yeah, this is kind of where I am, though. It'll be very interesting to see what goes down on Monday. Right, and here we've got this. So this was Uncle Rowdy. Brady tagging me in this saying therapist. And I couldn't see what they were referring to, but I think it's this picture of what looks to be a partial red circle. Maybe someone looking in a mirror, maybe? Which does seem a little bit like that image that Bo had tweeted out the other day, right? Where he had like a bit of a red circle around him. So, I don't know. Seeing what we want to see is something that could absolutely be happening. And do we want to see that? Are we like, I didn't even notice it, but it's an interesting kind of picture. What looks to be, if it was completed, a red circle and someone looking into it. I mean, you can see how it could connect, but maybe a bit of a reach, right? Maybe a bit of a reach. So I don't know. I'm on the fence with it. Let's put it that way. I don't think it's anything, but I'm interested in it to the point where I've included it and I'm showing you. Other than that, no Plutos that I'm aware of. Didn't see any Plutos in the background, but then we didn't really get anything to do with like a women's tag division. There was no women's tag division on show, and I really feel like there's a connection there. So how interesting that we've not had anything to do with the women's tag division, and we've also not had any Plutos. So there we go. That was the Wyatt Sicks folder. Let's try and work our way through the others. I'm going to try and speed run these. So here, look, Sportskeeda said, for a moment, it felt like this was it. Did he change his mind? I mean, it was a real great ending. Really enjoyed the ending to Smackdown. Big ending to Smackdown. So, yeah, it definitely felt like he changed his mind. This was from the show, just a couple of seconds. Look, there's LA Knight struggling. Goes up, falls down, tries to get back up, falls back down. There's Night Legacy saying LA botch. I mean, what I would say is, what I really appreciated was he did botch, but when he finally did jump up, Andrade actually pushes him away and had managed to compose himself because he'd got a little bit of time because of LA Knight not nailing it first time. It meant that it was all a bit clunky. And what I liked was the fact that Andrade actually got the advantage as a result, which I think is such a good way of, like, if there's a botch, dealing with it. Because Andrade just got that little bit extra time to recover, and he was able then to eventually push LA Knight away. He went for a missile drop kick. He missed with it, and I think it was LA Knight at that point that hit the BFT. But I thought, yeah, okay, botch, it's going to happen. I thought they dealt with it really well, really well. Shakeem, shout out to you. Here's Tiffany saying, who welcomes you to Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport? Is it Roman? Pretty sure it's not you. Atlanta is Rhodes country forever. Cody's city. Welcome to Atlanta. So really good point, that. Really good point. So there is Cody and Brandy. That's who welcomes you when you arrive in Atlanta. Yeah, this is big news. Zilla Fatu will not be appearing on tonight's GCW event in Philadelphia or any GCW shows for the foreseeable future. We tried our best to avoid this situation, but we have reached an impasse. I think they say, like, we wish him all the best for the future. This has really got people talking because Zilla had similar issues in reality of wrestling. Now, if he is someone that does not have his shiz together and he's going to no-show, that could be a big problem. This is not a guarantee that WWE are interested, right? And that he's left and he's now going to WWE. There's no guarantee of that because he's done this before in reality of wrestling. It might be that he is not focused. He doesn't have his head screwed on, right? He's not putting business first. He's like just doing what he wants when he wants, and that's not good, right? It has been pointed out on the live stream that there are others in WWE that have done similar in the past, and they still found their way to WWE. So this doesn't necessarily mean that it's the end of the road for him in wrestling. But if he's not WWE bound, this is a bad look, right? If he is WWE bound, then maybe that's why he's kind of messing up these shows. I mean, it is so bad. I can't even begin to tell you how bad it is to have someone advertise for a show and them not show. Like, it's probably one of the worst things you can do because you're sending a message out to all the promoters that you are not trustworthy, that you can't invest in this person because they will do what they want when they want. Now, obviously with WWE, that's different because they're going to pay a lot of money and it's going to be a lot of exposure. But WWE don't want to run the risk of advertising someone and then that person not show. So I would say this is a negative. I mean, I don't see this as a positive. I don't really see this as something to be excited about. I know people will be because they'll be looking at this going, oh my God, has he got out of that deal because he now wants to go to WWE? And maybe WWE will be interested, but I don't know, man. This ain't something I look at as good news. Let's put it that way, right? So does it mean that he's on his way to WWE? We're going to have to wait and see. But certainly GCW are going to have a bad taste in their mouths if that's the reason why. Yeah, so Roman and Cody tweeted this out 5 hours ago before Smackdown, which, what a segment, man. So good. Cinema. I mean, really, the definition of cinema. So captivating. Edge of the seat stuff. Really, really thought that segment was one of the best I'd seen since WrestleMania, actually. So, Fred, thank you. James just let me know that NXT Level Up is being discontinued. So NXT content is leaving Peacock, going to the CW app, and Level Up is being cut. So that coming from WrestleVotes Radio. So James, thank you. Here's Asuka saying she's currently in the middle of treatment. She just wants to entertain fans on X. So that's why she's posting a lot. She's not even close to kind of coming back. It does look like she is channeling E.T. there. I don't know how she's making her finger do that, like glowing. Very Naomi. But yeah, apparently she's still in the middle of treatment. So not expecting her back anytime soon. Brony, thank you. This also coming from WrestleVotes. Smackdown is going to go back to 2 hours in June, and that's because there was words that it was going to move to 3 hours, I think, from January, but apparently it's only for 6 months. During WrestleMania season, which we spoke about on our live stream, I'm very excited for that because 6 months, of 3-hour Smackdowns during WrestleMania should be a lot of fun because we've got a lot to build for WrestleMania. And so that's the perfect time to go 3 hours for SmackDown. So I'm on board, man. I'm on board. And the fact it's not a long-term thing, I think is better. Because I think we can all agree that Rumble to WrestleMania is peak WWE. So having an extra hour of SmackDown at that point, lovely. Right, yeah, this is what was being said last week, right? So this is Solo saying, what, your friends now? All of a sudden, you're friends. He ain't going to sign it. He ain't going to sign it. He don't like you. He beat you at WrestleMania. He don't like you. He don't like you. Right, so this is what he's saying to Roman. Look, there's Cody putting his hand out. You see that? You see? So this is Solo. He don't like you. Fake, fake, fake. He's the one that beat you. He don't like you. So that's what he was shouting, basically. That is what Solo was saying last week as Cody and Roman both signed that contract. Obviously, we know big tag match at Bad Bloods. Right, here, Wrestle Ops reporting there's 100% interest within creative for John Cena against Logan Paul. There's 100% interest from Cena and vice versa. Internal speculation is that it would be good. So I've got to tell you, man, I saw a lot of people not excited for this. Thinking like that's really how we're going to use one of Cena's dates. But I mean, he is one of the biggest heels in the world, right? Not only WWE, but the world. So I can sort of see why you would do it, but it's hard to get excited for it. Sean Ross Sapp said Kevin Owens has been approached about a new WWE contract, but AEW are expected to make a big offer if Kevin becomes available. Chelsea said she'd better be the referee, and that's because she was responding to this. So Nick Aldis responding to Adam Pearce. Nick Aldis said, after much deliberation, I have decided to respond. And he's talking about, like, let's wait and see. Would I face Adam Pearce? Time will tell. And he's posted a picture of him looking pretty jacked, man, in the gym. He is still in amazing shape. He is still good to go. Well, Chelsea saw it and she said, I'd better be the referee. Could you imagine Nick Aldis against Adam Pearce and Chelsea is the special guest ref? 3 Hour Smackdown. I am the Cooler Red. Thank you. We spoke about that. Ken Shamrock has signed a Legends deal, which is great news. That coming from Chris Van Vliet. And Dave, shout out to you. Harley Lewis is a new trademark that WWE have acquired. Let's have a look at fun, shall we? Yeah, there she is. Add waste management to my resume. There's Chelsea Green. Brilliant segment. Really enjoyed that from SmackDown. Missy, thank you. Right, yeah. So apparently this is the WhatsApp voice message. So I don't know why, but this is the voice message.
I love you, Solo!
Apparently that's the official voice message on WhatsApp for Saturday night's main event. So Brady loving that. Fiendish Howdy loving it as well. Mitchell, shout out to you. 90s WWE, the DNA results have confirmed that not everyone is your brother. So there we go. There's Hogan reacting to the news that not everyone is his brother. And Ismar said, look, we've got a phone case and a smiley face. And I got sent this picture a lot, and it's very easy to understand why. Because when you're confronted with a phone case of this magnitude, you have to include it. I mean, look at that. It is absolutely stunning. Love the black and the white, and it really feels quite trippy as I'm looking at it. You know, it's like, oh, my eyes are kind of all over the place there. And then to have the smiley face as well, just to bring a little bit of joy and positivity to the experience. I mean, I think she's done great there. A really interesting phone case and an excellent fun popper as well. So, Isamar, shout out to you. Shout out to everyone that tagged me in this. We don't have fun phone case folder really anymore. We know of the regrettable incident that happened where we included what we thought was Rhea and it turned out to be a cosplayer. And that really did bring an end to things. But there is the odd exception that I'm willing to make. And, well, listen, you get a phone case this good. I think we're all in agreement that we've made the right call here. So. And Kelly the Wise Lady, there's Asuka. Look, she's trying to catch the gymnast, but she doesn't. She ends up falling, crashing and burning down to earth. So love this. she's continuing to put out some fantastic memes on X, so really good. And then let's look at other, shall we? Rhea Ripley responded to some body image critics with a bikini gardening video. I didn't quite understand this. She put a video out of her gardening in a bikini. I don't know if she was being body shamed. It would be hard to believe that being the case, to be honest. So I didn't quite get like why she felt the need to do that, but yeah, she's responding to body image critics. So I don't know. I kind of feel like she does respond to trolls. She's responded to live fans as well, and she does kind of. I think it does get to her, to be honest. She's not someone that can just let things go or not worry about stuff and just sort of, you know, leave it. I think she does read stuff on social media, and I think it does kind of get to her because we've seen her responding a few times. Another example here. So, yeah, interesting. Spartan says Valhalla has made a new children's book. Look at this. It's all about regenerative farming, which is so Valhalla, isn't it? So Valhalla. So there we go. Sarah Rowe has created a children's book from the farm to our table. Looks lovely, actually. Might give it a read. Here's Dave, who said CM Punk stayed behind after Tuesday's NXT, spent 30 minutes taking pictures with the fans. That coming from Fightful Selects. And this is our last one. There is Alexa providing the voice for one of the wrestlers in this Queen of Villains Netflix show, which apparently has started, and I didn't even realize. Said September 19th. I really want to watch this. So Maki Ueda, right? That voice being provided by Alexa. Such an honor to do the voiceover. Incredible series. Thank you to the amazing team. Check it out. It's now available on Netflix, and I loved every second of it. Listen, women's wrestling in Japan in the 80s and the 90s, and you could even argue today with Stardom and Marigold, is just some of the best in the world. And back then, it absolutely undeniably was the best in the world. And so if you are someone that loves wrestling and wants to learn a little bit more of wrestling, I would really recommend, I haven't even seen it, but I would really recommend this, because you might not know some of the stars, you might not know some of the people, but it will give you a glimpse and a taste of what was happening in Japan in the 80s, in the 90s, with some of the best women's wrestling of all time. I think this is going to be more 80s, to be honest. So, yeah, 80s Japanese women's wrestling that's got Alexa Bliss involved, right? Only voiceover, but even so. There we go. Right, that went way longer than I wanted. About 7-8 minutes more than I wanted. I didn't even want this to go half an hour. But we know that I'm a boomer that can't stop talking. So I hope that you got something from this video. I want to say a big thank you for all of the support. I'm going to run away and work on opinions videos, reaction videos, all that kind of stuff. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe. Really do appreciate it. If you've made it this far into a video, I think you'll probably enjoy the other unseens and the other videos that we have on the channel. And we will be back with a live stream tomorrow for the boxing and another episode of Unseen. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.